Hi, I'm Gary Hattie, 45 years old. I've had Parkinson's disease for 16 years. Over the last 16 years, I've actually learned how important it is, how essential the drugs are to give me a decent quality of life with Parkinson's disease. But I've also seen the effects of people who don't get the drugs on time and the difference that's made to their quality of life. But now you're going to meet some of my friends and hear about their experiences.
I've been in hospital quite a number of times over the last 2 years. The first time I was taken into hospital, it was with a hip dislocation, and once the hip had been rectified and I was back in bed, I became aware that I hadn't had my Parkinson drugs.
I was told to go home. Therefore, unknown to me, they confiscated her drugs. Now, I seriously mean that. Her drugs were confiscated.
It left me feeling I was lying in bed about 3 inches off the bed. But my tremor was very bad.
And I couldn't believe the story that I was told, that after she came out of theatre at 3 a.m, she asked for the Parkinson drugs, and they wrote up the record sheet at the end of the bed. Patient asked for drugs, refused, signed, house officer.
Well, I did cheat terribly, and I got my family to bring in a selection of the drugs from home, and I taped them to my shoulders so that when I felt I needed extra drugs, I could take them. I got them that way.
I found out subsequently that the medical staff were of the opinion that lay people are not competent to give Parkinson drugs. They ignored the fact that for something like 20 years she had been self-medicating.
It wasn't until the Parkinson consultant came into the ward that I was given the drugs that I needed.
And I felt very, very angry on the occasion where the drugs were withheld, and yet there were drugs prescribed by that hospital's Parkinson consultant.
However, the last time I was in, I was told right from the start that I would self-medicate, and that was a completely different experience. It was better in that I had the responsibility for my own drugs. I knew what they were, I knew what I was doing, I knew when I needed them. And I think I recovered faster through that. I was certainly much more comfortable.
On our last admission to hospital for a further hip replacement, the staff were well aware that she was going to self-medicate. They were very relaxed about this, and therefore I was to
get your drugs on time and know that you are in control of that. You feel like a human being and not a gibbering idiot.
Did you know that last year 2,500 people with Parkinson's disease were admitted to hospital? And of that, we estimate 800 of them didn't get their drugs in time.
Mel went into hospital, he had his surgery, it was fine. I got a phone call, and it was Mel, and he said, "Are you in that house?" And I said, "Yes." "Well, I'm in this ward." Then he hung up. And I went in to visit him that night, and he was totally out of character, nothing like Mel at all. Everybody that walked past the bed, he was shouting at them and waving, and nothing like him, was it? Well, you don't remember that then. And I went to the staff nurse in the evening and I said, "There's something not quite right. There's something different about Mel. All Mel's fine, he's been getting his medication on time, there's nothing wrong with him at all." Well, the next day I went in, and what a shock. Mel was asking me to bring him earmuffs in. They're hiding you in these cupboards. and they're controlling me and telling me not to look for you. They're playing music, then it's putting me off this music, and I'm getting out of bed to look for you because I know you're here. So I phoned the next morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, spoke to the staff nurse, and I asked how Mel was. And she said, Mel says he's had a hell of a night, and he's in tears, and he wants to know where you are. And we're trying to tell him you're not here, but he says you are. We're hiding you to prove to you that he's too violent to live with. And he's trying to climb out of bed, and we can't keep him in, and he just did a hip replacement. Please come to the hospital to visit as soon as you like and stay as long as you like. So I did for 5 days. I left home at 10 in the morning and I got home at 10 at night. And these 5 days I kept saying to Mel, don't worry, this is going to pass, you'll be fine. But I don't think I believed it myself, to be honest. And for 5 torturous days, I really thought I'd lost Mel, that he'd gone. And then he said to me one day, they're going to shoot me tomorrow. They're coming here to shoot me because I'm too violent to live with you, so I won't be coming home again. So I went to the staff nurse and I took Mel's medication list with me, and I said, there's something so wrong, I don't know what it is, but this is Mel's medication list, are you sure it's right? Oh, says she, I think the timing's not quite right, the dosage is right, but the timing's not quite right. The next day, the phone rang, and a voice said, I'm back in the land of the living. And you just could not believe what that was like. So that was a big lesson for us, that how much difference one wee tablet can make.
So what do we actually want? We don't see any reason why, when we go into hospital, we don't get our drugs on time, all the time, every time. Help us to make that happen.